Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here today. And in today's video, I'm just going to be going over the 10 fragrances that I'm going to be reaching for most this December. So December, technically, most of it is still falling in fall. I think the 21st is the first day of winter. So in December, I like to sort of reach for things that have that festive quality, like vanilla and cinnamon, and nutmeg and chestnut and those types of things that kind of remind you of the holiday season. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right into the list here. And number 10 on the list, I've got Jaguar Oud. So this is a nice little cheapie. You can find it for under $20 sometimes when it's on discounters. I think right now the best price I've seen is on FragranceNet for like $22. This has quite a few like holiday notes. There's some Gaiac wood, some cinnamon leaf, which is like slightly different than normal cinnamon. It's definitely got a synthetic edge to it. Jaguar's not got the best quality ingredients, but the overall scent profile is really delightful. Like I said, there's like some papyrus in here, so it's got a little bit of like a papery feel with that unique cinnamon leaf note, and then some vanilla Gaiac wood. A little bit of some smokiness. I think it's probably coming from the Gaiac wood, but definitely really nice cheapie, worth checking out, and really beautiful fragrance for accenting the holiday season. And it definitely kind of smells a little bit like how the bottle looks. This is like a really nice crimson red. It's not showing up, the color is not quite as, there you go, you can kind of see it in front of the candle there. The camera was darkening a bit, but yeah, really awesome little cheapie there, Jaguar Oud. There's no actual oud note in here, even though it says oud, but it has some nice woody accents going on. Alright, so number 9 spot, we're gonna go with Burberry London. Classic Christmas in a bottle fragrance. Cinnamon tobacco, a little bit of a port wine accord, some green carnivorous sort of vibes going on in here as well, so you get a little bit of that Christmas tree accent with some of the nice festive spices going on, and then some sweet sort of masculine tobacco and like wine, like a wine type accord going on as well. So it gives like this kind of cold vibe to it that is coming off from a combination of the coniferous aspects of it, and but then it's also balanced out by the warmth coming from the spices and the tobacco. I'm sure you've probably tried this one, but if you're new to fragrances and you haven't, you can probably find this at Ross or Marshall's. Be a great starter fragrance for this time of the year. Number 9 spot for December, Burberry's London. Alright, number 8 spot. That is going to be, first couple here, a bunch of cheapies. I've mentioned them in my top 10 winter cheapies list, but these are just some of the ones that I particularly enjoy in the month of December from the lower price bracket. This one is going to be Boucheron, from the house of Boucheron Jaipur. This is the Eau de Toilette version. There is an Eau de Parfum version, which there's very minor nuanced differences, but this one puts a little bit more emphasis on the spice. So there's cinnamon and I believe some cloves in this. Those are both festive spices to me. And so this one's a little bit more spicy, whereas the Eau de Parfum is a little bit more creamy and puts a little bit more accent on the benzoin and vanilla. So this one I think just cuts through the cold a little bit better and is better suited for winter than the Eau de Parfum, which I think is more of a fall fragrance. Annick Minardo was the perfumer behind this one as well, so you know you're getting a good quality creation from a master perfumer. And yeah, so I also like longevity on this one is about 4 to 6 hours. Burberry London, I only get somewhere between 1 to 3 hours, if that, with this one. I know that some people get longer, but and then this one is pretty long lasting. I usually get between 6 and 8 hours on this one. Moderate projection on these three as well. Moving on to the 10, 9, 8, 7 spot. Hidden gem, I've been trying to sort of let people know about this one on my channel. Fragrance I'm sort of hoping to bring to the community. That is Colors Man Black from the house of Benetton. Currently sold out on the normal discounters, but you can still find it on Amazon. This is a vanilla lavender oud nutmeg dominant fragrance. There's also some other fragrance notes in here, but it's just a really beautiful aromatic scent from the heavy lavender, and then there's a nice darkness that the oud brings to the table, and then it's sweetened up with the vanilla, and there's it's kind of like a strong nutmeg opening, so some people don't like that opening. I particularly enjoy it because I think it's quite festive, but definitely huge compliment getter. I've gotten the most attention from this fragrance than any other one in my collection, so it is very mass appealing, and people always are asking me about it. And this one also has pretty good longevity. I get between like 6 and 8 hours on this one. And so that is Colors Man Black from the House of Benetton for the 7th spot, number 6 spot. We're going with By the Fireplace Mason Martin Margielas from the replica line. So this one is a little bit more of a kind of like Burberry London. It's a little bit of a novelty fragrance. It gives you that really festive vibe of like chestnuts roasting by an open fire. There's some Gaiac wood in here, some vanilla, some chestnuts, some pink pepper, and there's something else in the top notes. I think cloves. So yeah, there's cloves in here as well. So you've got clove and vanilla and chestnuts and Gaiac wood, and like all the Gaiac wood is one of the Yuletime logs, and so there's a lot of notes in here that harken to that concept of chestnuts roasting by an open fire. This is why I put it in the December list here. It really brings to life and transports you. It's a bit of a transportive fragrance. So if that's your intention with fragrances, sometimes this is something a little bit that you can wear for yourself to put yourself in that mood, or to feel comfortable and to sort of cloud yourself in something cozy if you're just staying at home. So not the most mass appealing, this one. I think you'll probably be better off with the next fragrance on this list. But this one has, good longevity, but a little bit of more of a for yourself type fragrance. However, if you want a little bit more mass appealing version of that DNA, you can always go with Stronger With You. So I've just put the Eau de Toilette one in here, I think, for December. This is my favorite out of the line to reach for. It's light, it's refreshing, it's got a little bit of a fruity nuance in there. So this is, maybe daytime chestnut vibes and then nighttime chestnut vibes you can go with in this instance. But yeah, this is probably my favorite from the Strong With You line. I haven't tried the leather or the oud yet, but I tend to reach for the absolutely and the intensely deeper into the winter. So fall is still kind of in the air during certain parts of December, so this one's a little bit lighter and fruitier, and just like I think my top pick for December anyways from that line. So that's going to be number 5 spot, Stronger With You Eau de Toilette. Also about 7 to 8 hours longevity on that one. Okay, number 4. Yeah, number 4 spot. This is going to be Oud Maliki from the House of Chopard. This one I heard about from Demi Rawlings' channel. She's been talking about this one a lot lately, and so I decided to go ahead and pick this up. Really glad that I did. It's very dressed up, something that you could wear to a Christmas dinner or an event where, like a Christmas party at work maybe, where you're wearing a little bit more of a put together attire. So this is sort of like a really bright, refreshing, gives me a little bit of a cola vibe, but in a very like non-syrupy way, like just a very fizzy sort of, almost like Paco Rabanne's Pure Excess, because there's like some myrrh in there that gives it the cola vibe. There's no myrrh in here, but I get a similar sort of olfactory sensation, and then it dries down to this really beautiful powdery tobacco, and it's very long lasting. I usually get about like 7 to 8 hours out of this one as well. But yeah, not so much a casual fragrance. Definitely something that I would wear to a black tie event. And you can get this one for like cheap, like $60 on fragrancebuy.ca and around $80 on FragranceNet. But yeah, definitely really glad that I picked this one up. Thank you, Demi, for recommending it to me. So that was number 3 spot. Number 2 spot is going to be Killian's Angel Share. So normally I like to wear Boozey fragrances more in January. It's kind of, I don't drink, but you know, that concept of like hitting a flask to warm up, I definitely use fragrances to that end. And so January, February, mostly January is the time where it's extremely bitter cold where I'm at. And so I like to reach for Boozey fragrances more in January, but this is a lot more sweet and gourmandish, and emphasis is on like the cinnamon, vanilla, and oak. Oak is also a very prominent note in this one, like the aged oak barrels that they were going for with the whiskey kind of vibe here, but I don't get as much whiskey booziness as like sweet gourmand kind of cookie vibe. So I picked this one out for December because it definitely gives me it's very much of a Christmas vibe that I get off of Angel Share. And this one, obviously, you know, high quality, good house, long lasting, about 10 hours on this one. A little bit more expensive than most of the other fragrances. It's like $160 for like a 50 ml. So, you know, maybe sample this one before you get it. It might be a little bit feminine for you, because it is very sweet, but I'm really glad to have this one in my collection, and beautiful presentation. Killian killed it on that. So that is down to the top 2. Number 2 on this list, probably the one that I will reach for the most in December. It's, you know, just more, I don't know, I guess versatile. It's not quite versatile because I only wear it in the cold weather, but I can see myself in the most situations in December in this fragrance, and that's going to be Bulgari's Man in Black. So I have Spice Bomb Extreme. I haven't tried any other of these Spice Bombs, but this I feel like is a little bit more grown up version of that DNA. The regular Spice Bomb Extreme is too bubblegummy for me. Like, it's a little bit youthful. It smells like bazooka bubblegum. I'll still wear it from time to time, but it's I don't like bubblegum fragrances. But this one, it just kind of rounds out that sweetness and adds a little bit more darkness and depth, and like there's like that boozy accent that's going on in there as well. It's not really too overpowering, but yeah, just enough sort of spices to get me into that festive mood, but then also some darkness to kind of carry me through that end of autumn leading into winter at the end of December. Beautiful fragrance, about 8 hours longevity on this one as well. Alberto Marias is the perfumer, so definitely check this one out. A lot more expensive than it used to be. I think you could probably used to be able to pick this up for like $40, but it's around $90 anymore, but I still think it's well worth that price. Like I said, I think this is the superior version of the Spice Bomb Extreme DNA, and that one goes for around $100 for a 90 ml, so you're getting more juice and a better scent profile, in my opinion, with Bulgari's Men in Black. And then finally, the number 1 fragrance on the list here is technically and officially discontinued, but you can get it for $130-ish right now on Perfume Online Canada, I think is the name of the discounter. I'll put it up here in the editing. But it's definitely worth at least $150. I would be willing to pay for this. Anything more than that, it's like getting into only pick it up if you're a collector, but it's definitely worth having in your collection, and $150 is still a good price for this one. And I would highly recommend getting it now while you can before supplies completely dry up. I almost didn't include it in the list because it is discontinued and getting harder to find, but I want people to go ahead and get it now while they can, and that is Fahrenheit Le Parfum from Dior. So this was my scent of the day today. The reason why I love wearing this in December is because violet fragrances are something that I reach for during rainy days, because there's a certain wetness and ozonic quality to violet that harmonizes really well with the rain, for me anyway. And so there's a lot of sleety sort of days going on in December where it can't quite decide whether it wants to rain or snow. And so I think this is just really perfect for that. Like, anytime that it's a bitter cold but rainy and not quite getting to snowing yet, even when there is a little bit of snow, this is just like a very nice fragrance to reach for when it's like very cold but damp outside, which was how the weather was for me today. Beautiful, sort of, there's like licorice and vanilla and rum, and then the violet notes that you get from the original Fahrenheit DNA. Very long lasting, like 10 to 12 hours on this one. Incredible offering. I think Dior is probably like my favorite house, all things considered. They have the most fragrances that I esteem and wear most often. So yeah, definitely check out this fragrance if you have the chance. I'll try and put up the discounter where it's going for affordable price right now. I think eBay's asking like $200 plus, but like I said, I think there's at least one place where I've seen this for under $150, and it's definitely worth that price. Okay, so that is my top 10 list here for the month of December. Let me know if there's anything that I missed that you would have included in this list. I might be wearing or reaching for those fragrances in January and February. But this is my lineup for this month, and I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.